All right. Hi, welcome to Chicago Public Library's Speak On It Radical Fit edition. Radical Fit is a program of the Chicago Public Library YOUmedia program in partnership with Cubacub of Rebirth Garments, extending through May of 2021. Radical Fit and Speak On It is going to offer fun fashion-making events with a special focus on gender identity and equity. And the goal is to give teens the opportunity to have a conversation virtually about what speaks to them and inspires folks to create with a focus on gender identity and equity. You'll be able to ask questions before and during the event using the chat function on YouTube. My name is Stephanie Skora. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the Associate Executive Director of Brave Space Alliance, the first Black-led all-trans LGBTQ center located on the south side of Chicago and serving the south and west sides of the city. Sky, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited too. It's wonderful to see you, even if we are over Zoom.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll jump right in here. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired Radical Fit?
Yeah, so I was contacted by Jeremy Dunn and Ava Carney and some other awesome folks. And we're also working with Marcus and Eric and Justin at YOUmedia. And I was contacted like before the pandemic started, like a couple months before it. And they wanted me to design a fashion curriculum for YOUmedia to be done in person. And I had just assumed that because of the pandemic that it was all going to be just canceled. But then they were like, oh, we got the grant, and they said that they wanted to do it virtual. And, so the state librarian and next generation, Project Next Generation, were like, yeah, let's just do this all virtual and it'll all be fine. And so now, yeah, it's all like on YouTube. We have a whole playlist, the Radical Fit playlist on the YOUmedia Chicago YouTube that you can check out. And yeah, it's just like super fun. Sorry, my video just went away. Can you all still see me though?
I can still see you.
Okay, well, I just can't see myself now.
And that's a really trans experience though, isn't it?
True.
We're just making this queer. We're doing it live. We're making it queer. We're disappearing in front of our own eyes.
I know, I'm like, where? Okay, there it is.
Having the authentic experience here.
Totally. But yeah, and we just figured out that the closing, although now it's not even a closing performance, is going to be probably in August in one of the Chicago District parks. And we're going to have a big, fun fashion extravaganza with DJs and photographer, and people can come turning their own looks that they made, or you can like come and model for a friend. Because it'll be August, hopefully a lot of folks will have gotten vaccines by then. So yeah, we think we can have a actual in-person event, still with social distancing, and definitely everybody has to wear masks, but we'll actually have an event. And then I think we just decided last week that Radical Fit is not going to end. We're just going to keep on doing it, but okay, we'll get other grants for it. So yeah, I'm really excited.
That sounds really awesome. And oh my gosh, an in-person event in August. Like those words aren't even processing in my brain.
I know. Yeah. It's
oh my gosh,
kind of wild and exciting, but yeah, I mean, we think it's doable, especially if we get a pretty big park, then we can be very all distanced.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think you mentioned COVID. Obviously, we all know about COVID. Good Lord, COVID. It's destroyed our lives for the past almost 12 months now. Almost exactly 12 months. It's just been
more than that for folks not in the US too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know that, COVID has really changed in some interesting ways the work that you do. Can you tell us about because I know you've made those fabulous window masks. And you've also
Yes.
changed some of the rest of what you do. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was able to, with this fellowship that I got through the Ford Foundation, Andrew Mellon Foundation, and United States Artists, I got this Disability Futures grant slash fellowship, and I used that money to kind of switch my business into focusing on face mask making, and I wanted to focus on making accessible ones. So I got really interested in making the clear window masks, but I also was interested in like having a lot of different kinds of attachment styles available because for me, I have like a million earrings, but I also have like sensory sensitivities. So like earloops just do not work for me.
Mm.
Um, but also like fabric ties can be really annoying or like they're bulky, things like that. So I wanted to create ones with like snaps or I've been really into using these like hoodie cord adjusters.
Ooh.
And so yeah, having both of those. So like making window masks that also have accessible attachments for folks with different kinds of mobility, but also it's good for a lot of folks who like wear hearing aids or things like that to have different options. And those right now we're having a whole mask series on the Radical Fit playlist. So people can learn how to hand sew like a basic mask and also a headband called an ear saver headband. So it just has a
Ooh.
little button on each side. So if you do have the ear loop mask, you can just hook it around the buttons so that you don't have to have it like hurting your head. Oh, I just realized
Oh
that
my
I
gosh.
have, here's the basic mask. This is like a mask that you can make with like absolutely nothing but this little kit that um, we have these like take and make kits that are going to be available at every library branch, like I think probably as soon as next week, or maybe
Oh
some
my
of them
gosh.
have even gotten there. So there's 15 kits at every single branch that's open, not the branches that are closed. And yeah, so you can make these things for free. Um, and I'm actually going to be shooting after this how to make my beard masks, which here's the pattern
I
for
love
that.
your beard masks.
Yes, it's great for lots of Jewish folks with beards.
I mean, like
And
for real, I want Hasids to get behind like the beard mask movement. It's so like, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time around men or like, and I also don't spend a lot of time around people with beards in general, just because of my like cross section of the trans community.
yeah,
I happen to have like fewer bearded people than the average trans in my immediate social circle. And I'm also not the beard growing kind of Jew. And so,
okay.
so like, but I know, beard masks are such like, how did that come to you?
I mean, actually, it's because of my Hasidic cousin, my cousin Josh Cubacub, who, yeah, is Hasidic and Filipino. He's like my sibling, and he just actually started working for me this month, so that's really exciting.
Ooh.
But yeah, I made him and his wife masks because she was pregnant and about to go to the hospital, and I was like, I gotta give them good masks for being in the hospital. But I gave him a mask and I was like, "Oh, obviously this doesn't fit with his beard because he
This
has like
big,
a
big
giant beard."
poofy, yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come up with something." And so I made these beard masks, and this is like, yeah, the pattern for it, and it'll be available online so that anybody can make them. Um, and yeah, it like works really well. So now I've had like a bunch of friends with beards who are like, "Yes, this is the only thing I can wear."
Did you think when the pandemic started that you would be a noted beard innovator in fashion?
I mean, I've always wanted to be a beard innovator. I
I-
I have a chainmail beard over here. Let me grab it really quick.
Go grab the chainmail beard. This is fantastic. This is new wave beard content. This is not Gen X's gay beard content. This is a whole different kind of beard we're talking about here.
Yeah, so I made this in high school because I made a lot of awesome work in high school. But this is my chainmail beard.
Ooh, very Cthulhu.
Yeah. So,
I love that.
I could wear this and then I could wear one of my beard masks over it.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, and here's one of the window masks for people's reference. And
And
I'll
those are
have
just
like a
fantastic.
adapted pattern because I put my patterns up online for free for anybody to use, but this pattern is kind of tricky for new folks, and I finally came up with a way to make it a lot easier for people. So that'll be up soon.
Well, that's like so cool. And I know, one of the best things about you as an activist and like as an artist and as a person who, makes and designs things for people who are often forgotten about by the fashion industry and just people who make clothes in general. One of the best things about your work is that you really make things for such specific groups of people that, and people, we're out here, we need all sorts of different kinds of clothes, and people don't want to make them for us because it's not profitable or it's not easy, or they don't think that it's sexy, and you just make it all look so good and so hot and so gay.
Yeah, I feel like it's like just a big excuse for other fashion designers to be like, oh no, like I can't make that cute or whatever. I'm like, you can make anything cute.
You
Like,
can.
yeah, I don't know. So, and it's a fun constraint. Like, it's so boring just thinking about making clothing for like, white, skinny, cis het folks, like who have got like all of the clothing ever has been made for them. So, like, why do we need to even add more designs for that type of person? We like when there's like 10 million things that need to be solved in fashion for like everybody else.
Oh God, yes. Oh, also, we have a question from the
Ooh.
audience. Where can we get the beard mask patterns?
Oh yeah. Well, that one isn't up yet, but basically the beard mask tutorial will be debuting on this Thursday.
Ooh.
So when on the Radical Fit playlist. So when you see that, it'll have the link to the beard mask patterns. So I just don't have it up yet because I want to try to do it Illustrator style. I'm not good at computers, so I need to ask a friend to help me.
That's
do
fair.
that.
I mean, I don't think anybody is really good at computers because they keep changing them.
I know. I'm tired of it. They're just
I'm just like, look,
the same.
stay the same. Yeah, exactly. Stay the same. So some of us are old, some of us don't have time. Like, stop make it nice, make it better, but stop changing things. You're gonna have to start telling computers to get off my lawn. It's like, no, this is too new.
True.
And then the other mask patterns that you designed can all be found either on the playlist or on your website, right?
Yeah. So and on my Instagram at Rebirth Garments, you can go to the like links in my bio, and I think that that's the fastest way to get
Mhm.
the mask patterns. There's one that's like basic mask for with a pocket, and that's there, and that has a nice Illustrator pattern that my friend Lindsay Whittle, aka Sparklezilla, made for me, and then there's the current window mask pattern, but I will be simplifying it very soon. I think the window mask uh, tutorial is happening in March, so whenever that one is up, then we'll have the simplified pattern.
All right. Well, and I know we were talking about how amazingly unique your clothes are and how like fantastic and liberating your art is. I mean, how did you get here? What inspired the movement now that is your work?
I mean, I definitely owe so much to living in Chicago, Chicago Public Schools. I went to Bell School and then Northside, and the art teachers at Northside, along with like my mom, who's a Chicago Public Schools teacher, they are all like so amazing and just like extremely encouraging of they've always been extremely encouraging of my work, and also about like pushing things to be like more wild or weird or goofy, and not always having to have everything be so serious. And like, but like, focusing on like activism and serious topics, but like finding ways to, really make them, I don't know, just like actively solve real tangible problems.
Mm.
So yeah, I think they're who I owe everything to. Um, I started making chainmail, which is like what's on my head. And when I was in grade school, I went to this bead making or this bead shop near my house called Caravan Beads, which is no longer. And my teacher, Rebecca Mojica from Blue Buddha Boutique, had started teaching chainmail there. And as like a neurodivergent person, the chainmail felt like so good to just like touch and like stim. And then, but then also the process of making it was very stimmy and fidgety. So I was always able to have something to work on during, like, in order to help myself focus or calm down or like, go and zone into another world so that I could like, get out of like a panic attack or things like that. So I was making a lot of chainmail and I was making chainmail clothing in high school. And then my teachers were like, okay, you need to wear something underneath though, because I like to make clothing that didn't necessarily cover up anything that you're like typically supposed to cover. I mean, that's how I like to make clothing now still. So I was like looking at unitards and things like that. And I was like, man, all of these things are just like in black or white or like this weird beigey nude that looked like really ugh.
Like sort of like distended white people.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like it's like so too smooth and weird. Like even on white people, it's like, so I had my twin best friend's mom taught me how to make unitards, and I was making like really colorful ones. And then I got really interested in sewing spandex and stretch mesh and stuff. So that's how I kind of got into the work that I do now.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And you primarily make clothes for disabled folks and gender diverse people. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because I mean, I've been out as queer since I was 15. And then I guess when I started college and I met non-binary folks, I was like, oh, yes, that's, I think, what I am. Like I didn't really necessarily feel binarily trans, but I felt very ungendered. I identify as agender. Um, so I was very, very interested in that. And I was obsessed in high school with like drag kings and like chest binders and packing garments and things like that. But those weren't accessible to me because I mean, I still look 16, even though I'm 29. So I couldn't go into the shops that sell those types of garments. But then when I was like looking online, I also was like, these are so hideous and boring. And like, I want to look awesome and excited to, oh, gee, my phone grabbed my dog. And then, yeah, I identify as disabled. I have still undiagnosed stomach disorder, and I needed clothing that would help would just like not hurt me. So I started wearing making really stretchy stuff that's super soft. And yeah, and I've always been neurodivergent too. And it got me really interested in crip theory and queer theory. And I was reading all these different books about that. And I was like, oh, I think I could, make my clothing line just like be hyper specific and talk about all the identities that I'm interested in and other people might be interested too.
Amazing. And that's the thing that, like, oh God, we're both elder trans now. I mean, like, this is I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary myself, and and you've been out for an indeterminate number of years that could be one, because you said you've been out since you were 15 and you're clearly 16 still now, as you just said. But it's Good Lord, how gender has changed in the last decade.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's fantastic now. What's your favorite part about gender today that we were missing 10 years ago?
I mean, I'm just like obsessed with how the teens are like all up on everything. Like, I feel like, I mean, having better resources online, even though I still think that schools are definitely lacking a lot of resources that they should have. I think that the online resources, I mean, yeah, having Instagram and TikTok, and like I feel like both of those, I learn a lot of things from posts on Instagram and TikTok, and I mean, we had Facebook, but Facebook,
Did we though?
Facebook, I got a Facebook the summer before freshman year of high school.
Mm.
And I guess it was like the first year that they, opened it up to non-college people. And but yeah, but it was a lot different. You just posted pictures and you were like, "Oh my god," like to your friends.
It was all like, it was all Poke Wars and Farmville.
Yeah, there's games and stuff. It wasn't as much about like spreading information that people needed.
Yeah. It was much more just like it was, the way that people talk about grandmas using social media now, that's
Yeah.
how everybody was using social media
Yeah.
like 8 to 10 years ago. It was all farms as far as the eye could see, and just like different ways to annoy each other. But no, I agree. I mean, like, there's so much stuff going on with young people in the world of gender and sexuality. It's just fantastic. I'm board president of this wonderful organization called the Midwest Institute for Sexual and Gender Diversity. And we put on this conference called MumbleTack, the Midwest Bisexual, Lesbian, Gay, Transgender, and Asexual College Conference.
Thanks.
And some of our preliminary data from the last conference that we had in February of last year, up to 80% of the attendees of that conference were young people in college who identified as some sort of trans.
Amazing. Yeah, totally. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I remember, like, not that long ago, it was a right-wing joke that everybody's trans now. And
Yeah.
everybody's trans now. And I really think we stuck it to them.
I think so too. I mean, one of my friends, Faith, has been calling me the gay agenda for like years. They're like, yes, the gay agenda is working, but they'll like be talking about what my influence on teens and stuff. I just love it.
I mean, I'd just be like, look, you're eating a casserole. That's the gay agenda in action. We're gaying up that casserole. We're making sure that our gender and our gay cooties are touching every single thing.
Yes. I love a casserole. I'm so Midwest.
Yes.
I'm like hardcore Midwest and hardcore Chicago.
Ope, casseroles, and corn cobs. This is the way of life. No, I'm just Midwest chauvinism is a way of life in my home. Midwest is best.
Midwest is best.
Nobody needs an ocean. We're doing fine just here.
The lake is great.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I think, we're talking about how amazing, youth are doing right now with just reshaping every single thing about gender, sexuality, cultural expectations. They're hitting the streets and changing the world.
Yeah.
And, I guess, if dare we speculate, what do you think the coolest thing that's going to happen in the next 5 years is going to be?
Oh my gosh.
Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. What's your dream for the next 5 years of gender?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just like, I would love, I would love so many things, but I guess I would just love if it was just like super chill. Like if it was just like normalized to be able to identify as whatever gender, and like including folks who use like neo pronouns and things like that. I feel like recently I've seen a lot of, conversation online about people hating on neo pronouns. And I'm just like, why are people so upset about neo pronouns? I mean, they're so cool. I would use neo pronouns if I wasn't already exhausted with how difficult it is to get people to use any gender neutral anything. So yeah, I would love like, anytime people had to fill out boxes of anything, like if all of the boxes were just like fill in the blank rather than
Ooh.
like having to be like, I'm this or this or this. Um, I would love if Facebook would like make it so that we could like people could change their names without having to provide legal documents. I would love if, I mean, I guess this isn't necessarily about gender. This is about the structures around.
I mean, hey, I'm dreaming in 5 years of a world without Facebook, if we're being honest.
I mean, yeah, I'm dreaming about a world without presidents.
Yes.
Or government. So
I mean, hey, it'll put me out of a hobby, but I'll take it.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Power to the people,
Yeah, I would love it if young folks were able to have a lot more autonomy, like if like, so I mean, even being 18 and being like, okay, I'm separated from my parents, they'd like legally you aren't fully separated from your parents until you're like 26. So like in order to apply for college and things like that, you still have to use your parents' FAFSA, even if you have no contact with them. And they just make it so impossible. And even if it's like a super dangerous situation with your parents, no matter what the college is, they're just like, they only care about making money. So they're just like, I must advertise to your parents though. So even though you've already said, yes, I'm going to this school, and no, you cannot, message my parents or give them any info about where I am because it will like literally be like life threatening. The school's like, but I really want to advertise to your parents.
I really want their $50 extra.
I know. And I'm just like, Jesus, like chill out. Like let, like if we have all these folks who are, legally adults, but then don't actually have any legal rights to be full. I mean, yeah, legally allowed to be not under their parents' roof, but like basically everything else in order to like be able to succeed, like whatever, quote unquote, succeed in life, like being able to get, or just like do any sort of normal thing, like having, having healthcare and being able to go to any kind of school and being able to, maybe like get apartments in some cases, like, and they just want everything to make you so tied to your parents unnecessarily.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like I mean, I had a really rough relationship with one of my biological parents, and it really wound up, it screwed me over pretty significantly when I was in college. And it's just, it's respecting people's autonomy, especially their desire to be independent. I mean, like colleges they really want to walk this fine line, don't they? They want to treat people like they're adults because then they spend more money and or get into trouble more easily. But they also want to treat everybody like children so they can get money from the parents or restrict people's, like, it's, I mean, just let people be, like, let people choose how they need to exist in the world to best fit their own circumstances.
Totally.
It's ridiculous. And I mean, I think that's really, if young people are going to accomplish one big thing in the next 5 to 10 years, I think it's going to be some sort of strong differentiation between the right of parents to control their children versus the right of children and of young people to have an active say in how they need to live their lives.
Yeah. I mean, I would be super into that because it's, like you said, like it seems like, as things go on, like, lots of folks before got to be very separated from their parents, but it was still like hard, like like the easiest quote unquote way to separate from your parents legally is to get married. But then that's like, that's ridiculous. Like that you have to be tied to somebody in order to be an independent person. And for a country that's so obsessed with independence and like, being your own person, it seems very hypocritical to me. So yeah,
Well, and then for disabled people, I mean, you can't choose either one of those. I mean,
totally.
if you're reliant on any sort of public benefit whatsoever,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are you're permanently under the control of somebody.
yeah,
And it's all different flavors of messed up, all sorts of them. Gosh, but I think the kids are going to change that. The kids are all
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they are amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? Like to age myself and also quote the song, "Teenagers scare the living hell out of me, but in a good way." Well, Sky, we've only got a couple more minutes left, so I want to ask you. You've been doing all this amazing work. You've got the Radical Fit series going. It's going to be going until August with that big event. Aside from that, what's next for you?
I have a show in Hong Kong coming up.
Ooh,
Maybe or maybe not. I will go there. We'll see because I might actually get the vaccine on Thursday.
congratulations.
So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Hong Kong show at a place called Chat,
Okay.
and it's connected to this awesome artist Taeyoon. And then I am doing a show called Move Semantics in New York that I'm just sending stuff to and gonna do probably some talks or workshops and maybe connect Radical Fit to that show. We'll see.
Mm.
And then I guess I have some maybe online dance parties coming up with
Ooh.
yeah, that'll be fun. And those will be all ages. Let me see. I think yeah, I have one with probably the Disability Futures Fellowship and then another one or two with some different universities. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe the Longmore Institute on Disability, I think we'll do a online dance party. So those will all be really fun. I'll announce them on my social medias.
Well, I mean, hey, I think everybody who's watching today should do themselves a favor and make sure that they're following you at Rebirth Garments on Instagram.
Yeah, on TikTok
Any
also.
and at Rebirth Garments on TikTok. I always forget about TikTok.
Well, that's the most important one now.
It really is. I'm like I said, old lady, can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, yeah. What's going on with Brave Space Alliance? You should say some things about Brave Space.
yeah,
I feel like everybody should go to Brave Space and see my beautiful face.
yeah, we've got a fantastic mural of you on the wall right inside our entrance. We're expanding our office again, trying to open up some more public programming space. And we're really slowly easing back into things. We're trying to figure out when it's going to be safe for our staff and for the community to come back in. We've got a number of really fantastic programs in addition to our crisis pantry, which is serving people in need all across the city. If you're a person who's at risk of COVID, if you're immunocompromised, an elder, disabled, and a member of the LGBTQ community, you can sign up on bravespacealliance.org to have our organization deliver bags of food and supplies to your door, so you don't have to risk going to the store and exposing yourself to COVID, or shoulder the expense of having an expensive delivery service. Bring those items to you yourself. We also have this wonderful program called the Makeup Room for Black and Brown trans women who need affirming makeup related gender supplies. You can come. You can't go into the makeup room and look around for yourself right now, but we're having people have pre-made packages, and you can there's some flexibility in there. You can have some selections, but the makeup room is a fantastic resource. We're working towards a trans masculine equivalent of the
Yes.
makeup room called the Den, which will provide binding and packing advice. We have a wonderful partnership with Early to Bed, providing binders and packers for folks who can't access them themselves. And then eventually when the office opens back up, we're gonna have a really exciting mental health program that we're hoping to launch soon on a telehealth platform. We're hoping to be able to open the first nonprofit related laser hair removal service on the South Side for
Wow.
people. Yeah, we're doing all sorts of really fantastic things. If you want to check us out, you can go to bravespacealliance.org. All of our current programs are going to be on there, and everything new will be coming up shortly. But we're doing a lot of really good work for a lot of the people who who need it the most. And if you're one of those folks, please, please, please reach out. We would be more than happy to provide you some services.
Yeah, and you should, I mean, definitely the makeup room sounds amazing. We have some cool makeup tutorials
Yes.
that are on the Radical Fit playlist. So if you get makeup from the makeup room, then you can also then look at those makeup tutorials. I think
Cross
most of the,
compatibility.
I know, yeah. Yeah. Right now, most of the makeup tutorials were done during Halloween. So some of them are like how to do fake gore or something.
Ooh.
But we have a bunch coming up for some some local drag queens and drag kings. I think
Ooh.
right now we have one coming up with Travis Fierro of ab painting, which I'm really excited. I was like, yes, we need to have them show how to, and then yeah, I'll probably have some other like non-binary drag folks, and now that Radical Fit will maybe go into, be an infinitely long program, we'll have, continuous things. I know I'm going to do a makeup tutorial where I went and bought makeup from Walgreens and CVS, all of the like
Ooh.
stuff that I've always used. Like this is just Wet n Wild eyeliner, but I've been using this since I was 15 and it's my favorite. And it's only like, I usually get it when it's 50% off. So it's only $2.
Bless drugstore makeup.
I know. Yeah. So I'm going to do a drugstore makeup tutorial where I'm like, you can do a total awesome look with like very little makeup. So
Well, Sky, you are a gift. Thank you for coming out and doing this. Thank you for having me to help you talk about your work. Sky Cubacub, the founder of Rebirth Garments and the person who runs the Radical Fit series. Next week, Speak On It is going to have
next month.
Oh, next month?
Yeah, it says next month.
Next month. Sorry, next month. Radical Fit will still be going, and Speak On It is going to have trans musician extraordinaire Supernova and CPL rap-brarian Roy Kinsey on for the next video. But for now, Sky, thank you so much. And to everybody in the audience, thank you as well for coming out and sitting and hearing us talk and give you some cool information.
Thank you
hope
so
to see you
much,
around.
Stephanie.
Yeah, of course. Thank you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.